Tonight on the Nightly Review, the Fargo City Commission doubles down on its criticism of a local developer whose employee is running for mayor. It's official. BitZero announces an investment in North Dakota that could reach into the billions. And it looks like Scott Jensen versus Tim Walz for Minnesota governor. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Steve Hallstrom filling in for Tom Tucker. Hope you're enjoying that sunshine that felt really good today. Leading our headlines tonight, the Fargo City Commission has voted to send a notice to Roers Construction that's in default of a developer's agreement because some townhouses near NDSU have not been built. The Roers company has said building materials have skyrocketed in price and congestion in the area has slowed progress, but it still intends to complete the work. City Commissioner Dave Pepcorn says Roers is lying and never intended to finish the project. The debate comes as Shannon Roers Jones, legal counsel for the company, is running for mayor. More on this story comes your way in just a bit in our Closer Look segment. An update we first brought you back in April. Crypto company BitZero and investor Kevin O'Leary have made it official, announcing today that they're locating a 50-megawatt data center in western North Dakota. It will draw power from the Missouri River and produce heat for a massive greenhouse on the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation. The Forum reports that BitZero could invest as much as $1 billion in North Dakota in the next 3 years. WDAY Radio is reporting that North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is donating $300,000 to a political group that's targeting several fellow Republicans' legislative seats in the June primary. He made the contribution Friday to the Dakota Leadership PAC, bringing his donations this year to $1.2 million. His donation was made just a day after several Republican lawmakers alleged his contributions are unconstitutional. The former software executive has given millions to the PAC in the last 2 years. We know more tonight about the primary election field in Minnesota as the May 31st deadline to file for the election has come and gone. The Republican battle to face Attorney General Keith Ellison will be fought between Doug Wardlow and Jim Schultz, and Scott Jensen will not face any real opposition in the governor's primary. This after Hennepin County Sheriff Rich Stanek decided not to run. On the Democrat side, most key candidates, including Governor Tim Walz, are not facing any significant opposition. But Congresswomen Ilhan Omar and Betty McCollum will have meaningful primary challengers. A new school in Fargo is now less than 90 days from opening day, and enrollment numbers are on the rise. Fargo's Capstone Classical Academy now has 97 enrolled students, and that number is more than doubled in the last 3 months. Opening day will be August 23rd, and Headmaster Paul Fisher tells the Nightly Review that nearly all the faculty and staff members have been hired. The school will start out grades K through 6 and add a grade each year for the next 6 years. Year 1 will see the school meeting in 2 campuses in South Fargo before a building goes up south of 64th Avenue. A new analysis by Bankrate.com ranks Minnesota the 4th worst state in the country for homeowners insurance. The study shows the average cost of a $250,000 policy tops $1,700 a year, $500 more than the national average. Insurance agents say severe weather across the seasons in Minnesota contributes to the low ranking. North Dakota is ranked 15th worst. The best state for value is Utah. The worst is Nebraska. You might want to check those strawberries in the fridge. Organic strawberries from Fresh Campo and HEB have been linked to 2 cases of hepatitis A in North Dakota and Minnesota. Health officials say throw the berries away if they're from Fresh Campo or HEB and bought between March 5th and April 22nd, and then consult with your doctor to see if there are any health concerns. At this point, those strawberries probably aren't much good anyway. Well, if you want to work for Elon Musk, you won't be working from home. The Tesla CEO has reportedly sent an email to staff saying they must work at least 40 hours in the office or risk being fired. He's criticized other remote policies before, despite several companies allowing their employees to stay home longer or even forever. Musk is currently in negotiations to buy Twitter. Twitter employees who work from home are said to be very nervous about all this. And comedian Jerry Seinfeld is coming to Grand Forks. Seinfeld will perform at UND's Chester Fritz Auditorium on Saturday, September 24th. Seinfeld is one of the greatest names in American comedy. He got his big break on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson in 1981 before teaming up with Larry David to create the legendary TV show Seinfeld. Tickets go on sale Friday at the Chester Fritz box office or online at Ticketmaster.com. In a closer look tonight, Fargo Mayoral candidate Shannon Roers Jones finds herself in a hard-fought campaign. There's a popular incumbent mayor and several other challengers. As mentioned earlier, her father and head of the company she works for has been accused of dishonesty in a current building project, and some say if she is elected, there could be major conflicts of interest. She was a guest on the Flag WZFG's What's on Your Mind show, and she was asked, if elected, how she might handle city business with her father's company.
From the very beginning, before this ever came up, I said that if there was any business that came before the city that was related to me or my family's businesses, that I would recuse myself from that. The other thing is my ability to sweep anything like this under the rug is, it doesn't exist because there are 4 other commissioners that have to weigh in on this fact. So if I recuse myself, that's essentially the same as voting against something like this. So for Roars, for any of our businesses to get the city to agree to something going forward, they're going to have to earn the vote of at least 3 other commissioners. So I really, the other part of that is these sorts of transactions. I think people have this belief that they happen all the time. In 46 years of business, we've had 4 such transactions.
Roers Jones adds that it seems orchestrated that during her campaign that this issue was dramatized at commission meetings. And while incumbent Mayor Tim Mahoney, she says, did not grandstand about the matter, he certainly could have diffused the situation.
He certainly didn't do anything to bring the commission meeting back to order. He didn't do anything to admonish Commissioner Pepcorn that this is not how we treat citizens of our community. And, I guess I've had this conversation with other people. If I were the leader of that commission, regardless of who it is, maybe an influential member of our city, someone who maybe has less influence in the community, we don't treat our citizens that way. And Commissioner Pepcorn has done this before with his sit down, sit down, sit down tirade. You are up there in a position of authority, but you are put there by the people who vote for you, the people who elect you, and they deserve the respect.
Roers Jones says there are other projects around the city that are behind schedule due to supply chain and cost issues as well, and those developers are not being called out the way her company is. Election Day is June 14th. Well, if you like staying informed each night on local news and issues, we've got good news for you. You can subscribe to the Nightly Review so you never miss a show. Just hit the bell button below to make sure that you don't miss the next episode. Put the kids to bed, put the day to bed, then catch up on what you've missed right here on the Nightly Review. Well, today seemed a lot more like the start of summer than yesterday did. Meteorologist Justin Storm is in the Skywatch Weather Center with a look at the forecast.
Thanks, Steve. As we head through this evening into tonight, we will see some clouds around the area, but they will be decreasing as we head through the overnight hours. Temperatures will drop into the upper 40s, and breezy conditions from this afternoon will lighten up around 5 to 10 out of the west-northwest. Unfortunately, it will turn windy again for your Thursday with gusts up to 35 from the west-northwest. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy across the area with highs in the upper 60s, and we will see a weak cold front coming through Thursday night. That will let us get pretty chilly in the upper 30s to lower 40s across our area, but we rebound back to the upper 60s on Friday. Sunshine returns with lighter wind.
In tonight's one-on-one conversation, we take a look at home prices in the FM area and the lakes. Dave Noah from Remax Legacy Realty has been in the business for more than 30 years. Earlier today, I asked him if the market is still as crazy as it was last year at this time when there was a definite short supply of homes on the market.
Well, real estate's still kind of funny. I mean, interest rates have gone up, so that's made people think a little bit, but kind of ironically, it's made people enter the market more just because they're fear of rates going up even further. So they thought better capture something now before they go up to 6, 7, 8%, which hasn't been that way for a long, long time.
Dave, we've seen home values jump in the last 2 to 3 years here in the metro, something like 10 to 12% a year. Are we still seeing that kind of appreciation, and is that a good or a bad thing?
There's some positives about that for everybody, whether they believe it or not. It's nice because now we're getting more and more homes that are at a higher value, so appraisals are coming in better, and in the long run, that'll help us kind of after the market kind of mellows out a little bit. So as an agent who's been doing this for a long time, that makes me feel better because we should reap a little bit of appreciation, so to speak, no matter how it's occurring because of low interest rates and less product on the market, whatever the reason is, it's going to help us in the long run.
How about for people who are thinking, yeah, it would be nice maybe to buy a lake home this summer? What's the inventory look like for lake homes right now?
Right, on the Fargo Moorhead MLS, there's like 20 lake homes, which is thin. But then you also have the lake regions, the MLS down at the lakes area, and they have about 199 on. But that's still pretty anemic for what's usually occurring. If you're thinking of going to lakes now, you're behind the curve, so to speak, as far as buying and being able to reap the benefits of a lake place this year. But rentals and Airbnbs and things like that, you're still fine. But the lakes area, it's like the cream of the crop stuff sells, and people are getting high price points there as well, because it's funny, the pandemic was kind of a double-edged sword. It was bad for all the reasons that we know it's bad, from people passing away to sickness but with PPP money and some of the other things, the economy locally hasn't been terrible. We still have a workforce shortage and so forth, but a lot of people have done okay here.
Yeah, Dave, it can all seem intimidating trying to find the great house, and interest rates are up, prices are high, but I imagine there are always those stories out there of people who find something pretty great pretty fast, or decide to put their house on the market and get some good money fast too.
Well, I think if you're ready to sell and you want to sell, don't be afraid of putting your home on the market. You're going to reap pretty good money. You're going to do very well. Certainly better than you've been able to do in the last, recent 4, 5, 6 years. And don't be afraid of buying something. You have to be patient, obviously. But building is still an option. I think things are starting to move along a little bit. And building, I think, is even with the labor shortage and even with, some supplies and so forth being tough.
Noah says the average house will take about 40 days to sell in the FM area. Well, that'll do it for this Wednesday night edition of the Nightly Review. I'm Steve Hallstrom, and thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.